Hey, what's up everybody? My name is George Coltrane. Thank you so much for checking out this video as well as this channel. We're gonna hop into the vlog today and I'm super excited about it. Going over just some things that's been on my heart and creatively, just where I've been and different things. But before we do that, I definitely wanted to hop in and say that I've been gone for a few weeks. If you guys have noticed, if you guys haven't noticed, I've been gone for a few weeks, which is kind of weird, right? It's the beginning of the year. I had this whole video at the beginning of the year about how I'm gonna start these new things and I disappeared for 3 to 4 weeks, like what the heck? But there was a legitimate reason for that. If you guys have been following me on my Instagram, social media, you know that my dad has been having really poor health over the past few weeks. He and subsequently we have been in and out of the hospital for the past few weeks. It got pretty dicey there for a little bit, and so honestly I just took a step back on all things kind of creative outside of my like work, my 9 to 5, because family just honestly came first in that situation, and I had to make sure I was there taking care of him. Like I said, it was in and out of the hospital, and just trying to stay on top of all the things that were going on health wise. So I appreciate you guys' patience for being gone again. For me, like, that was family. It's just really important, spending time with my dad and whatnot. And so I didn't vlog it. My dad's not very stoked being on camera. He's probably not even stoked that I'm talking about it on the vlog. So I didn't vlog it or anything like that, but honestly it was just important for me just to be there and be present. But we are back. Thank you for all of you guys who have been praying. He is home, recovering, is doing much better. Things are looking much better than what they were. So thank you for you guys for your patience, but also for your prayers, because that means the world to me and my family. But we're gonna jump in to the vlog today, kind of almost even talking about that subject a little bit, as far as like not only why I was gone for the past few weeks, as I just explained that, but over the past few years I've been in and out of being gone, and there is a really legitimate reason for that, but it's also has to do with me and my creative process and different things. And the more I talk to more creatives, it seems like many of you guys struggle with this too. So I definitely want to go over that. Jump into this episode right now. Let's do it. Okay, so story time. At the point of recording this in January of 2021, my wife and I just celebrated our 5th year, 5 years of being married. And the footage you're seeing on screen right now is footage from our wedding 5 years ago. But here's the crazy thing about it. This is the first time I've seen my wedding footage. That's right. When I pulled out this footage to edit it for this video, it's the first time I've seen it in 5 years. Also, when my wife sees this video, whenever I drop it, it'll be the first time she's seeing it, our wedding footage, which is crazy. Well, there's a story behind that. We're getting married. We didn't have a whole lot of money, like you do. And so we, we're kind of getting vendors together, all the like. And at the time I had a creative department I was running for my church, and I had a few interns, recently, like they had just graduated high school. And they were interns to me. They ended up being on staff with me and lifelong friends. But to cut some costs, I said, hey, why don't you guys film the wedding for me? They were relatively new to video. They'd been filming for a couple months and they were really good, but they'd never run a whole wedding by themselves. But I said, hey, here's what the deal is. I trust you guys. You guys can film it for me to save costs. I'll edit it, but you guys go ahead and shoot it for me. I trust you. It'll be great. And then the craziest thing happened. We got married, and my wedding day in my brain, the way I imagine it, was literally perfect. I actually can't remember a ton about it because I just remember it being so much fun and so many things happened that I actually feel like there's so much of it that I forgot because there was so many good things happening. I'm not just saying that. I actually truly believe my wedding in my brain, the way I remember it, was perfect. And so I had this fear once, the honeymoon and all that stuff came back and it was time for me to edit the video. I had this fear because I was like, man, there's no way that the wedding video can match up to the perfection it was in my head. And that wasn't shade to the guys who filmed it. I just knew that they were new, and I was like, man, it's just not gonna be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. And so my wife for 5 years was on me, bugging me. My mother-in-law, everyone was on me. Where's the wedding film going to be at? When are you going to edit this thing? And honestly, I never even, not only did I not edit it, I never looked at the video footage because perfection froze me. And to be honest, that's a lot of what it's like for me today. Sometimes, I started this YouTube channel a couple years ago, had all these ideas of what I want to do. And, I have grand ideas, these crazy ideas of what I want to do creatively. But this idea of perfection, it froze me. And I don't even know if it's just the idea of perfection. It's like this fear. It's this fear of like, man, what I imagined in my brain, these grandiose dreams that I have. It's this fear of failure that I have, that it's not going to live up to the expectation I have in my head, the expectation that I've said, the expectation that I've set for this project. And what happens with fear and sometimes this idea of perfection is that it freezes you. What I've realized and what I've come to find out though is that stunts your growth. There's a place that you need to get to. There's milestones and things that you need to achieve, but you won't because fear has stopped you from growing. Has stopped you from taking chances. And the thing is I'm not actually like this in other parts of my life. I'm actually I'm a pretty big risk taker. My wife will tell you. But for some reason, when it comes to my creative space and the things that I want to put out in front of the world, in front of an audience, sometimes they're really intricate and they're grandiose, and like the scale of like what I have in my head. Well, we don't have the budget for that. We don't have the crew for that. So what it ends up being is it isn't that. You guys saw this a few years ago. If you guys are following me on my channel, we had a short film that we started for a Halloween horror film and never put it out. We finished it. I just never put it out because it just didn't live up to the expectation I had placed in my head. And that happens to me a lot in my creative adventures. And what's crazy is the more I talk to some of you guys, that seems to happen too. But for my growth, I have to break out of that. I'm trying to find ways to challenge myself to stay creative. Look, I have content. I have tons of stuff as far as vlogs and BTSs and tutorials. I have content. I film it a lot actually, but I never put it out. And the thing about art is, it's vulnerable. It's a vulnerable space. You're creating something from your heart, from your soul, and you're putting it out in front of other people. And that can be incredibly scary. It can be incredibly hard, especially again, if you have big ideas for it and it just doesn't quite live up to the ideas that you first had. That is hard because you're worried about the criticism, or you're worried that people won't give you another chance. Whatever the case is, that's super legitimate. I struggle with that. It's funny, I've talked to a few people and they're always like, wait, you struggle with insecurity? All the time, especially when it comes to creative process. I struggle with that on a daily basis. But I also know that many of you guys do that too. And so I'm trying to find ways, practices, habits that I can put in myself every day to start to break that cycle and push myself creatively. So not only can I get content out, but that I can get better, I can grow and become the creative, the person, the husband that I am meant to be. And so there you have it. I feel like, again, the more I talk to creatives, the more I hear that be it a struggle that many of us have, like this idea of perfection, which is silly because what is perfection? Like, we're creating art. Art isn't really about perfection, right? It's about expression. And I think with social media, YouTube and Instagram and all the like it's definitely created this, at least for me sometimes, this comparison thing where you look at someone and what they're doing and you want it to be like the best and better. I'm an ultra competitive person. I want to be better, right? But ultimately, like, that's not why you get into creating. And sometimes that stuff, social media and comparison, man, it's really just the thief of your joy of creating, right? And so that's something that I'm really trying to fight in 2021. Not even worrying about anything else besides, I'm not worrying about anything. Not the numbers, not who's watching or who's sharing or any of that. Like, I just want to get back to creating. I do that obviously for different brands and other creators that I create for, like it's my job, but really just being in a space of figuring out what I want to create, the things that I'm passionate about, and just doing them. The thing about social media is that we know it's all about, the algorithm is all about being active and being like present. And so the thing about being a perfectionist is that, well, if you don't post because you're not, like it's not perfect or it's not as good as you want it to be, then even when you finally do post, well, the algorithm's all jacked up and no one's seeing your stuff. Like, you know, like it's all messed up because you're not being active. So I think there's a practical element of that, right? Of being active, because of that's just how social media and the algorithms work. But also just for yourself, I think there's something really important and powerful about putting work out that it isn't the best it could be, or you maybe not even like finish with it. One of my favorite directors, J.J. Abrams, says he never completes a film. Like, it's never finished, you know? And I think sometimes even treating social media short form, or, you know, shorter periods of work like that, putting stuff out, even if it's not perfect, putting it out and then learning from it, because again, sometimes even the things that's the most important that you learn is when you put something out and it's not the way you thought of it in your head, but you learn from that. And it helps you be able to grow as a creative, as a filmmaker, as an editor, as a DP. It helps you learn that stuff for the next time and for next week and for the next project. So that's something I'm really wanting to push myself in 2021. For all my creatives, filmmakers, whomever out there who struggle with this idea of perfection, you overthink these things, man, write down in the comments for me below, you know, what that struggle is like, how and what ways you're overcoming that, maybe what habits you're trying to implement in 2021 and beyond, to help you fight that and combat that. Because I promise, look, I'm in that same fight with you. We're gonna keep fighting and keep creating every day, every week, every opportunity that we can. We're just gonna keep creating, putting it out there, and get better. So let's do that together. My name is George Coltrane. Thank you so much for checking out this channel. Yo, if this was helpful, encouraging, inspiring, even if it wasn't, give it a thumbs up for me. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments. Talk to me in the comments. I'm commenting back. Want to hear from you guys, and we'll see you next week. Peace.